What is going on, Commanders family? We are back with another film session, and today I'm excited to talk about Josh Conerly Jr. This player has been impressive during the preseason, a guy that I really like coming out of college because of his athleticism and consistency. Last year coming out of college, I noticed his talent when he lined up against Abdul Carter, not allowing a sack against him last year, as well as going up against the big dogs in the Big Ten. And now he's showing that same quality for the Commanders. So let's break this player down and see what he's all about. So on this play here, one thing I really like about Josh Conerly is his quickness off the snap of the ball. He is one of those tackles that has a strong first step when he is lunging. He doesn't just reach, he explodes into contact. Then right away, he flips his hips and seals off the defender. And that is textbook. You do not always need a pancake. If you have a player that can help create that wall, that is everything. And because of that, the running back was able to slice off his backside, hitting the lane clean for chunk yards. And this is the kind of athleticism that the Washington Commanders drafted him for. Smooth footwork, quick hands, and the awareness to turn his body and dominate this play. So we'll go ahead and split it. So locking on this play here, just watching him just firing off the ball. I love the quickness when it comes down to this talent. It is not easy to find these athletic tackles. But as you can see, he was able to flip those hips, building that wall and making things so much easier for the running back. If everybody's on the same page, it will open the entire playbook up, firing off and burning the defense. And these are the plays that we love to see, Commanders family. The thing is, when you're playing against a lot of these defensive ends and these defensive tackles, they are super athletic. So positioning is key. It won't be perfect when it comes down to this kind of talent, but the athleticism, the IQ are all there. And that's the kind of energy that Dan Quinn and the entire coaching staff want out of their players. So this ended up being a solid rep by Conerly here. Here's a rep where it is a straight up battle on the line of scrimmage. Conerly locks on, keeps those feet moving, and flat out eliminates his man. And with the offensive line, they work so cleanly together that Jaden Daniels zipped right through for an easy touchdown. When everybody on that offensive line is on the same page, it could really get the offense rolling. So let's run it. So locking on this play here, just studying Josh Conerly, engaging with that defender. He has those arms wrapped around him. You do not want things like that to happen, but it's good to be able to point these things out so he can be able to put his hands in the right spot. But the good thing is he was able to get those hands inside, and usually when you can be able to strike your opponents, get those hands inside their pecs, it can stymie these guys at the line of scrimmage. And everybody else on the offensive line is doing their job, and here comes Jaden Daniels, zipping right through and scoring an easy touchdown. And this is a player that was absolutely amazing last year. It has been a long time since I've seen a rookie do so much damage, and I'm sure that with this player's skill set, he's going to turn up even more. And as far as Josh Conerly, he is one of those guys that is very versatile. He's played right tackle in college and some left tackle as well. So coming in, he has a good understanding of what everybody's doing on the offensive line. And not only against the Cincinnati Bengals, he went out there and did his thing against the Patriots as well. And as far as this player's athleticism, having the fastest 10-yard split among all offensive linemen at the combine, which was 1.71 seconds, elite vertical jump, which was 34.5 inches, as well as a RAS score, which was 8.84 out of 10. That is big time, and this is a player that is showing his athleticism here on film. If he can be a player that can play with good technique consistently, the sky is the limit for sure. There was a lot of plays here that I had to highlight, but this was one of the ones that was one of my favorites. You'll see Conerly combo blocking and completely removing the defender off the line of scrimmage, allowing the running back to get busy. But it's good to see him maintaining balance throughout the entire block while generating force, showing that this player can be technically sound and play with natural power. So let's run it. So locking on this play here, just studying Conerly, combo blocking that defensive tackle and smothering him. The thing is, when you can be able to engage with these guys and drive those legs, you can quickly wash these guys out to play. But it's not only about being aggressive, you got to have that strong base to wipe these defenders out. And that gave the running back a beautiful lane to be able to storm off for a touchdown. And it don't get any easier than this when it comes down to that running back position. When you have good offensive line play and everybody can be on the same page, these are the things here that we have to show when it comes down to the film. And a lot of these offenses in the NFL, if they're running duo, inside zone, outside zone, you're going to see some double team blocks. You got to be powerful as well as having the ability to move. And it seems with this kind of player here, he is versatile enough to be able to do it all. And there were questions coming out of college as far as his run blocking, but if you can show it on film at the next level, that is everything. But seeing him helping out with that combo block and completely wiping out that defender was great to see by Conerly. One thing that we all locked in on when Josh Conerly came out of college was his athleticism. On this play, he gets to the second level quickly. The defender did disengage, and that's something that he does need to work on that we showed on the other clip, but the quickness for his size is definitely worth noting. So we go ahead and spin it. So locking on this play here, just seeing him zeroing in on that linebacker. You see that linebacker, he's kind of stepping away, but Josh Conerly stretches those long arms. Now, he wasn't in good position, you can tell by his foot, as well as that defender keeping his left arm free. And that's how he was able to disengage quickly and close in on a running back. But the thing is, what I really liked about this play was how quickly he got to that second level. If he can be able to get his hands on you, it's going to be really hard to be able to get away from. And regardless if you're playing that left tackle position or the right tackle position, on both sides of the ball as far as the defense, there are premier pass rushers. But having a player that is a top-notch athlete like him, I will definitely feel good about him going against these speed rushers at the next level. Here's a quick rep of him using good footwork, stressing out the defensive end, and eliminating him from the play again. So locking on this play here, you see that he's clamping on. That defender, he did get his hands to his face. A lot of these referees, they never see it, but it just shows that this player is so quick, and he also has those long arms. And this is a player that is 6'4", 315 pounds. It's rare for a player to be able to move like this, and I'm sure with the Commanders fan base, they are excited. On top of having guys like Laramie Tunsil there on the offensive line, because that offensive line being intact was something that they was missing last season. And as far as this play here, a lot of these offensive tackles, you can have good lunges and you can have bad lunges. There are a plethora of tackles in the league where they lunge too aggressively. That is something else that they said about him in college, but I have not seen that yet in the NFL. So if he can continue to lunge cleanly and wipe these defenders out with ease, that is a green light for this player. There's a reason why Conerly gave up just 1 sack and only 5 pressures in the 2024 season. He has a smooth kick slide with no wasted motion. He's patient, keeps the rusher in front, and uses his length to shut it down. That's NFL pass protection if you ask me. So let's run it. So locking on this play here, just watching that smooth kick slide. Just seeing this player, he's like a dancing bear. That is what you need at that right tackle spot, fighting it out with that defensive end and not allowing him to be able to penetrate the pocket. Throwing to the wide receiver for a nice 15-yard gain. And with these quarterbacks in the NFL, all they need is about 1 or 2 seconds so they can get through their progressions and keep this thing rolling. And like we said before, as far as his pass protection, that is his main strength. A lot of things that he need to work on as far as the run blocking, so it will definitely take time. But if this player can be able to lock in and focus and be that sponge, he has the ability to make an impact year 1. Here's another play here that I wanted to show y'all of the hand placement that he needs to work on. No player is perfect, but it's important to be able to highlight both his strengths and weaknesses. And with this player, proper positioning and technique will be crucial for his success. So let's run it. So running this play here, you see that he's firing off. That defender, he tries to slash inside, but Conerly wrapped his arms right around him. But the good thing is, he tried to at least dig inside to reposition himself. But focusing on where his arms are placed is extremely important. And this play here honestly shows that generating pressure is everything in football, because he didn't even put his hands on the quarterback, but he hurried up and threw the ball, and it ended up being an interception. But when you are studying this kind of player's film, he will make a lot of more good plays versus bad. And just like any offensive lineman in the NFL, there will be those bad plays. So hopefully he can be that sponge, continue learning, and get better. And being around guys like Laramie Tunsil, who has been in the NFL for a long time, that can take this player under his wing, that is definitely needed when it comes down to this player. So hand placement is something that we all need to lock in on as he enters his first season. So on this final play here, Conerly shows why he is so promising. Smooth footwork, long arms keeping the rusher off of him, and perfect timing on his punch. He stays balanced, holds his position, and completely shuts down the defender to protect the quarterback. So let's run it. Let's lock on this play here, just watching his footwork again, just striking that defensive end and sinking his anchor. These are the technique things that you got to see from this kind of player, especially when you're going up against these big-time rushers in the NFC East. But as you can see, he's extending those 33.5-inch arms, keeping leverage. And it's exciting to be able to see these offensive linemen because when you do have a dynamic player like Jaden Daniels with Terry McLaurin, hopefully they can get his contract situation squared off because that player there, he definitely deserves it. But as far as Josh Conerly, the pass protection, athleticism, the length, the timing and punch, and his poise under pressure are things that are hard to find. And I truly believe that this player has the upside to be a long-term cornerstone tackle. So it's going to be good to see how it all plays out this season with the Washington Commanders, the Dallas Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagles. It is going to be fireworks this year. But it all starts with that offensive line and that defensive line. If you do not have that offensive line right, you cannot take that next step. But the good thing about Dan Quinn, he has a good understanding of that. Bringing in guys like Laramie Tunsil, as well as Josh Conerly, that shows that these guys are locked in. And I cannot wait to see how this player shakes out year one. So comment below and let me know what you guys think about Josh Conerly Jr. and who else do y'all want to see me break down, just like this video. So make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell because the way the YouTube algorithm works, if you don't hit it, you'll miss on fire updates and the best football film sessions on YouTube. All right, Commanders family. Talk to y'all soon. Gone.